Hi. So today's show is on trust, staying with the body love cards theme. We're going to be talking about the idea of trusting. And the front of the card is the image is on her head, trusting that she's going to be able to stand on her head while the little deer is looking at her. So trust is the knowing that our bodies are living intelligences, giving us immediate feedback about what does and doesn't work for us. When we stop viewing our bodies as something we need to control and manipulate, we can begin seeing them as very wise teachers. When we start to trust our bodies, we can listen and understand what they need. I think of this card as sort of like remembering that my body is my trusted servant and that it will always be here for me. It'll climb up the hill when I want it to. It will, my heart will beat, my lungs will breathe. Unless something is really, really wrong, it will really try to do everything I ask it to do. And that's so much bigger than wanting it to be a certain size or look a certain way or even be perfect, which of course there is no perfection, but I did want it to be perfect, whatever that was for me at that time. So today I'm so happy that we have Claire here, who has been a really special part of the Beyond Hunger family. And so I'll let her introduce herself and what she's doing these days and what up with her.
Thank you so much, Laurelee. I'm so honored to be here. Beyond Hunger has just been such an incredible part of my life. And I'm so grateful for the program and for you and for having this podcast and hopefully reaching more people and sharing people's experiences. So I'm Claire. I'm 33. I live in Benicia with my husband, our 2 little dogs, and I just had a daughter on the 4th of July. So she's about
baby Claire,
7 weeks old. So I'm definitely sleep deprived, and sometimes I'm tripping over my words and my speech. So hopefully I'll be able to eloquently talk about my experience, but
I'm sure you will.
I'll trust that.
Yes, the trust.
I'll be able to say what I need to say.
Yeah.
And it's interesting you said it's a little deer on the card. I always thought it was a little dog.
Well, it's a deer dog. I wanted a dog, but it looks more like a deer, but it supposedly is a deer.
Deer dog.
It's a deer dog.
I love that.
It's an animal that we love.
I love that.
So tell me, so in your own recovery or whatever, how you live with trusting the body. I would imagine that you just went through pregnancy.
Yeah.
So it feels to me like there has to be a lot of trust that your body knows how to do this.
Oh, yeah. Let me tell you. I think about the spiral too, and I think about going around in circles and kind of hitting something again and getting to experience it again and relive it again or something. And so my recovery story, I struggled with dieting and undereating, overeating when I was in high school and body image. And I remember looking at 17 magazines and always like pulling out ads. There was like diet pills and, I just really struggled with food and control. And I had a really hard time with it, and I tried, everything, and it wasn't until I came to Beyond Hunger, where I was really able to shed the light on the dark parts of me, and it wasn't until I was able to like look at it in the face and, that I was able to recover. I'm in recovery. I think that it's a constant thing, it's always something that I'm learning more about and working on. And sometimes I think I'm kind of, in the clear and it'll crop up, it used to be in the driver's seat, but now it's in the back in a car seat strapped in, it's not taking the wheel.
Right, exactly.
And I hear it and it's there, but it's no longer in the driver's seat.
Oh, I love that image. Because I thought when I was trying to recover that I wouldn't have this issue anymore, that it would be gone. And it doesn't drive the car anymore, but I still will have thoughts. I didn't get a lobotomy. I mean, I got recovery. I didn't lose my mind. I still have thoughts that say that, it might look better if you're a little thinner, but I just don't pay attention to them anymore. It's the same kind of thought as, oh, this guy cut me off. I'm going to hunt him down and kill him at the next stop sign. I don't do that either. I think about it.
It's a fleeting thought.
Fleeting
don't
thought.
Take action on it.
No, I just well, that's okay. Or I'm going to get really messed up on Sunday. No, I don't. I think about it, but I don't do that. So,
right.
So tell me how you have come to just trust your process or trust your body or trust Claire. Just trust Claire.
Yeah, it's definitely been a process. And for someone that really disliked their body and didn't trust their body, didn't trust my intuition, there were a lot of years of telling myself I needed to be a certain way and I needed good food and bad food and I had to exercise and not listening to my body when I was tired and also feeding it when I wasn't hungry too, with the binging and purging. I mean, that's just it's really sad when I think about the things that I used to do to my body and the way that I abused food. And I have a lot of compassion for that little girl, and that teenager and the girl in her 20s too, because I struggled a long time. But when I was really able to pause and say, what am I needing? Am I hungry? Am I full? Learning the principles of Beyond Hunger, having that compassion and the awareness. It was a practice, it was, again, years of telling, and it's not just, me, it's everywhere in the media and culture and magazines and stars and people we follow and Facebook and Instagram, and it's everywhere. But, once I was able to just kind of get quiet and listen to myself, and it took a lot of time, but when you are living in your truth, when you're finding your truth, it does feel much more natural, and you're kind of going with the flow instead of against upstream. It's not a struggle.
Right. And I think one of the parts that really spoke to me about this whole issue was sort of that mind, this decision within my mind to trust that my body knows what size it's supposed to be. And I just wonder if you came up against that at all. Like just knowing that it had a number.
Yeah.
And it wasn't going to probably be my number.
Absolutely. I definitely struggled with that a lot because I had this number in my head of how I was supposed to be. And it wasn't even, I really wasn't like that aware of my body, like how would I feel at this size? And it was really just how am I feeling? Yep. And with the body size too, it's interesting because when I got pregnant, I felt like I was a good place, I felt good in my body,
Yeah.
And I was nervous to get pregnant and gain weight
Yes.
and eat more.
Yes.
And it was something that I definitely was kind of surprised about because I was like, I haven't, had a quote unquote episode in 7, 8 years or whatever. It's been so long. And here I am kind of being like, whoa, what am I doing? Like the spiral coming back around and having to climb new mountains and face new challenges. And I was nervous, about it. And I actually had a friend of mine who teaches at Dominican University, and she had asked me to guest lecture on intuitive eating.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, so I've done that a handful of times, and she asked me to do it in the spring as I was pregnant, and I wrote her back, and I was like, girl, pregnancy and intuitive eating, I don't know about that, And then I was like, okay, that's gotta exist. And
exactly. It does exist. It's probably the most intuitive that you'll ever be. There's somebody else that wants that food too.
So I really got to listen to my body and trust that I was going to be hungry for the right amount of food, and I was going to move when I wanted to and how it felt good. And I do. So, gosh, every time you go into the doctor, they weigh you.
Yes.
And when I got up to, I was like 25, 26 weeks in, and I'd gained 25 pounds. And in my head, I'd said, I'm only going to gain 25 pounds this pregnancy. Like, that's just, the thoughts that came up.
Right.
Because they say if you're in a, standard range of weight, you should only gain 25 pounds. So I was sort of fixated on this. And I realized I'd got, another 3-4 months to go. And that's when you gain a lot of your weight in your pregnancy. And so I just told my doctor, I don't want to know my weight. And they said, okay. And so I said, every time I come in, I'm going to turn around and I'm not going to look at the scale. And please don't tell me my weight unless there's like a real issue,
Right.
And my doctor was totally fine with that. And I just got to let it go, And it's funny how it did crop up, but then I said, hold on, I've been here before. I remember,
I know how to do this one.
Yep. Right. I know all about the scale.
Yep.
I don't have to look at it.
Nope.
And I just, really started to trust that I was going to eat when I was hungry and stop when I was full. And some days were different than others. Some days I wanted to eat and eat. Other days I didn't. And some days I wanted to move and some days I didn't.
Yeah,
and
just like a living creature.
Yeah. And I just got to trust my body.
It's so great. And look, and then it made a human.
Yeah.
How amazing is that?
There's nothing like going through pregnancy and having a baby to appreciate your body. And
really? I know.
I'm just in so much more awe of it.
Right.
I remember like way back in the day being nervous, like, oh, I don't want to have a baby and get stretched out and get stretch marks and a flabby tummy and, all the things. And I'm now I love my body more than I've loved it before. And I'm just appreciate it so much. And I'm just in awe of the things it feeds my baby and holds her. And also I remember, I was again nervous about the weight gain, and a friend of mine told me, your baby's going to want soft arms and a soft tummy to snuggle in and thighs to nap in. She doesn't want this bony, place to rest her head. Right. And she wants, this soft, warm body to snuggle in. And that helped me a little bit. I was like, yeah.
Yeah. Well, she was inside being cushioned on all sides anyways.
Yeah.
And, I think whether we have a baby or we don't have a baby or we're a teenager or we're an old person, whatever, to me, going through the aging process too of, being a young kid and then in my 20s and 30s and 40s and then just trusting my body to get through this life, that it has DNA. It has a little path that it's on that my head may not want it to be on, but it does have one. So to let it do what it needs to do, it has been sort of that constant reminder that I'm not in charge. Yeah. I'm not in charge, which is very upsetting to the part of me that wants to be in charge of everything.
The control. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So if you're thinking about your recovery now and thinking about if there was a young girl named Claire, in her bedroom thinking, oh my God, I'm never going to be over this body hatred or this disordered eating or whatever this is for me, what would you, from your point now, looking back, what would you say to her to sort of like give her support that she's going to be okay?
I mean, I think about this a lot, especially since I, believe that my disordered eating, feelings came down from my mom, came down from my grandmother. Like I'm able to really trace it.
The generational woman thing.
Yes. And now having a daughter too.
Yes.
And thinking like, this is where it ends. Like I feel so strongly about raising her without diets and forcing exercise and telling her she needs to like look a certain way. Actually, it's really funny. Someone bought her some French clothes and she's
ooh la la.
Right. She's almost 2 months old and she's fitting in the 6-month French clothes. And I was like, so French babies don't get fat either.
French babies are very small.
I was like, okay. And then I just laughed and I let it go and it's fine and it's silly and clothes are silly. And we've talked about that there's just all the sizes are ridiculous and don't even pay attention to that. Just wear what's comfortable.
That's right. Does it fit or not?
Exactly. And I want her to wear what's comfortable. So, to think about a young girl, really going through it, I would tell them about my experience with Beyond Hunger, and I would talk about intuitive eating and emotional wisdom and body appreciation. And I would ask her, what do you like about your body? And like, let's find some things that you do like. And let's talk about what hunger feels like physical hunger versus emotional hunger.
Right.
And let's talk about what those feel like and, tell her a little bit about my story and how I was consumed with diet thoughts and weight thoughts and food thoughts. And it was all I could think about. And going through this program and getting this help really gave me so much freedom. And I remember like, what would I do if I wasn't thinking about food all the time? What would the things I could do and to have that headspace, not, so consumed with it. It's so freeing.
Yes. I think it's Janine Roth in one of her books saying, how many paintings would we paint? How many books would we write? How many wonderful organizations would we find or found? Or, how many houses would we build? How many places would we go if we weren't worrying about our food and our weight? If that was just gone and we had that freedom of mind to think about things and do things. So that sounds to me like what you would say to her, right? And I love the trusting. Again, back to the card, the trust that this is bigger than us.
Yeah.
Our body is bigger than our small minds can wrap around. Our emotional life is bigger. Our spirit is bigger than just a size 2 or 0 or -0 or whatever the stupid size is right now. The 0, 0, 00. It's like, is that a non-person?
Is that a negative?
What is that? Oh. So anything else that you would like to say out in the universe about trust, especially around this issue of trusting your body and trusting yourself, trusting who you are, your spirit, that you'll get through?
Yeah, I like what you said about aging too, and just as my body is changing too, from, pregnancy to motherhood and beyond.
And beyond, hopefully.
Yeah.
We get to be here.
Yeah. That I will trust that my body will tell me what it needs, and to continue listening. Because, the more you do something, the more natural it feels. And, you talked a lot about, when we're babies, we're eat when we're hungry, stop when we're full.
That's right.
We move our bodies. And it's having a little baby. It is incredible to watch her. And, I time her feedings to see, how much she's eating and this and that. And sometimes she'll eat more and sometimes she'll stop. And when she's full, she's so cute. She'll make this face at me, this little pout frown, and she'll shake her head. It's just the cutest thing. I'm like, okay, you're done. That's fine, And so to just see, like, in real time, here is a baby trusting her body. This is all she knows.
She knows how to do it.
And it's incredible to see that and just be reminded of that. That's how we all started. And then we got all these messages and all these, images and ideas of the way that we're supposed to be. And now we get to kind of unlearn that and go back to ourselves and trusting ourselves. And I usually know when I'm hot and when I'm cold and when I'm tired.
Exactly.
And the more you listen to it, the easier it is.
Yeah.
Practice.
And I'm always amazed at people say, well, I didn't eat enough, so I had to eat more because I was afraid of going to this meeting and then I would be hungry and then what? It's like, again, the baby doesn't think like that. It just says, I'm hungry, I'm full. Mm-hmm. Trust the baby. You're the baby. Trust the baby.
I like that.
Yeah. So would you like to read for today?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Today, I will practice trusting my body completely to tell me what it needs. I will trust it to tell me if I'm hot or cold, hungry or full, tired or energetic, at ease or uncomfortable. I will listen to its signals and sensations. I will respond to what it needs.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
And thank you, Claire, for being here and bringing also a beautiful baby into the world. The youth will save us, I believe, at this point right now.
They better.
Yeah, they better. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay.